Step by Step, 1991 to 1998, was one of the most beloved family sitcoms of the 90s, capturing the joys and challenges of a blended household with warmth, humor, and heart. Week after week, audiences tuned in to watch the hilarious and touching moments shared by the Lambert Foster family, brought to life by a talented ensemble cast. But while the show remains a nostalgic favorite for many, time has brought heartbreaking losses. In this video, we take a closer look at the step-by-step actors who have tragically passed away, exploring their lives, memorable roles, and the lasting impact they had both on and off the screen. Suzanne Summers played Carol Foster Lambert in 1991. As the upbeat, no-nonsense mother blending two chaotic families, her character radiated optimism and matriarchal warmth, masking deep tensions beneath the surface. While she enjoyed renewed fame on Step by Step, behind the scenes she clashed with producers and battled resentment over unequal pay, remnants from her acrimonious Three's Company exit. After TV stardom faded, she shifted to pseudoscientific wellness ventures that drew harsh criticism, with some accusing her of peddling false hope to cancer patients. Her marriage to Alan Hamill, though often publicly praised, reportedly suffered under the weight of controlling business dynamics and Summers' obsession with youth preservation. Allegations of estranged friendships and toxic loyalty circles shadowed her later years. Her assets included a Palm Springs mansion, multiple health brands, and book royalties, together valued between $100 million to $120 million. She died on October 15, 2023, at age 76, from breast cancer that had spread to her brain. Pat Crawford Brown played Mrs. Hill in 1992. Her character was a background figure, often cast as the kindly elderly neighbor, yet she brought a gentle depth that quietly balanced the show's energy. Despite a prolific career in TV, Brown never broke out of typecasting, leading to a festering resentment that brewed behind her warm screen presence. She was vocal about the industry's brutal treatment of older women, reportedly blacklisted after calling out a major casting director for age discrimination in the late 80s. Her personal life was equally stormy. She was estranged from her only daughter after a bitter court dispute over financial mismanagement. Brown's home was said to be modest and cluttered, filled with memorabilia she refused to part with even as offers came in. Her assets included a small house in Van Nuys, residuals from over 100 minor roles, and minimal savings, her net worth likely under $1 million. She died on July 2, 2019, at age 90, at the Motion Picture and Television Country House. The cause of death was never publicly disclosed. David Graff took on the role of Dave Roberts in 1993. Though his appearance in Step by Step was brief, he left a memorable impression with his intense, tightly wound energy, mirroring the persona that made him iconic in Police Academy. But his career stagnated as he became trapped by typecasting, and his attempts at dramatic work were met with rejection or mockery. He struggled silently with depression, reportedly drinking heavily during fallow periods and isolating himself from the industry. Behind the curtain of marriage and fatherhood, there were rumors of secret affairs and explosive temper tantrums that led to set walkouts. Despite owning a modest home in California and receiving residuals from his past work, his financial portfolio was slim, estimated between $1 million and $2 million. He died of a heart attack at age 50 on April 7, 2001, during a family wedding, cut short before a long-hoped career comeback. Don Knotts played Deputy Fief in 1993. His twitchy mannerisms and lovable cowardice brought a brief comedic twist to the series. Yet Knotts' public persona as a comedic genius masked a tormented inner life. He battled crippling hypochondria, trust issues, and years of prescription drug dependence that started in the 1960s. His post-Andy Griffith Show years were marked by disappointing film flops and nervous breakdowns, including a secret psychiatric hospitalization in 1978. Knotts was married 3 times, with his second wife publicly accusing him of emotional neglect. He had a fraught relationship with his children, particularly his daughter, who later penned a revealing memoir hinting at his controlling behavior. Despite this, he maintained financial stability, with a Beverly Hills home, decades of residuals, and a vault of memorabilia including his Emmy statues and signed contracts. His estate was estimated at $20 million. He passed away on February 24, 2006, at the age of 81, due to pulmonary and respiratory complications from lung cancer. Tony Longo joined Step by Step as Soupy in 1995. Known for playing the oafish sidekick, Longo leaned into his size and booming voice, but privately struggled with a growing sense of professional invisibility. Casting calls dwindled after the late 90s, and despite appearing in dozens of projects, he was never granted creative freedom. Behind the laughter, Longo battled health issues, including early signs of diabetes and kidney disease, worsened by years of steroid use rumored to enhance his physique. His personal life was fragmented. Friends noted his reclusive nature and failed relationships, including one bitter custody fight that ended with him losing contact with his daughter. He lived modestly in Marina del Rey, and his estate, mostly limited to a condo and minor royalties, was valued under $1 million. He died in his sleep on June 20, 2015, at age 53 from congestive heart failure and kidney problems. Peggy Ray portrayed Ivy Baker in 1991. Though her on-screen role was limited to warm, comedic support, it resonated with audiences who saw in her a dependable, maternal figure. In real life, Ray remained a staple of television for decades, yet she never achieved household fame and was often typecast into large, loud woman tropes. Her off-screen life was intensely private, so much so that whispers emerged about a long-term secret relationship with a married industry figure, which allegedly led to her being blacklisted from higher-profile projects in the late 70s. She never married and had no children, and some colleagues said she spent her later years in quiet bitterness over being passed up for awards and serious roles. Her estate consisted mostly of her Toluca Lake home and modest savings, likely under $1 million. She died on February 5, 2011, at age 89, due to complications of congestive heart failure. Mickey Jones portrayed Virgil in 1993. In the show, his gruff yet lovable demeanor as a biker character made for memorable comic relief. But behind the camera, Jones led a life filled with turbulence. Once a drummer for Bob Dylan and Kenny Rogers, he was fired from several bands due to combative behavior and alleged drug use. Transitioning into acting provided stability, but he remained plagued by anger issues and unpredictable mood swings, often clashing with directors. Several peers recalled him being paranoid on set, accusing others of sabotaging his scenes. At home, things weren't much better. He reportedly became estranged from one of his children and was sued by a former spouse over unpaid support. His home in Simi Valley held a treasure trove of music memorabilia and aging film scripts. His estate, mainly composed of these assets and dwindling royalties, was valued between $1 million and $3 million. He died on February 7, 2018, at age 76, following complications from a long illness, possibly linked to past substance abuse. Al Molinaro portrayed Joe Passarelli in 1992. The role mirrored his iconic, everyman charm, delivering comfort food-style nostalgia to viewers. But Molinaro was a complex figure. Behind his affable screen image, colleagues described him as rigid and obsessive. He had fierce backstage conflicts over creative control and walked off the set of 2 late-career sitcoms after being denied script approval. Though a successful sitcom staple in the 70s, by the 90s, his star had faded, and he struggled to remain relevant, quietly rejected by major networks. Off-screen, Molinaro's life was marred by family chaos. His son was arrested for fraud in the early 2000s, and a bitter inheritance battle led to a public fallout with his brother. Despite the drama, Molinaro amassed substantial wealth through strategic real estate investments, owning multiple apartment buildings and commercial spaces in California and Wisconsin. His estate was valued between $10 million and $15 million at the time of his death. He died on October 30, 2015, at 96, from complications due to gallstones. Nedra Voles played Mrs. Slazak in 1993. Her role as the feisty elderly woman provided quick laughs, a signature niche she'd long mastered. But Voles' cheerful public persona hid a much darker reality. Despite appearing in dozens of sitcoms, she was consistently underpaid, and reportedly had to sue a former agent in the 1980s for embezzling her retirement funds. In her final years, she suffered from worsening Alzheimer's and lived under the care of a distant relative who some claimed mishandled her finances. Allegations emerged that memorabilia and valuable items from her career were sold without her knowledge, sparking a quiet legal battle among extended family. Though she had once owned a comfortable home, it was sold late in life to cover medical expenses, leaving only a small estate of under $1 million. She died on January 20, 2003, at age 94, from complications related to Alzheimer's disease, largely forgotten by the industry she helped shape. Doris Roberts portrayed Aunt Edna in 1994. On screen, she was meddling and sharp-tongued, a persona not far removed from her real-life reputation. Roberts was a forceful presence on set, often accused of manipulating writers and sabotaging younger co-stars' opportunities. She feuded bitterly with one Everybody Loves Raymond co-star over screen time and was once banned from a talk show for berating the host off-air. Despite multiple Emmy wins, her later career was peppered with stalled pilots and uncredited voiceover work. Her personal life was equally dramatic. She endured 2 volatile marriages, one ending in public scandal after her husband's affair with a soap actress. She had no biological children, and her stepson reportedly cut ties with her over money disputes. Her Los Angeles estate was opulent, with a Spanish-style mansion, luxury cars, and diversified investments in film royalties and stocks, estimated around $14 million. Roberts died on April 17, 2016, at age 90, from a stroke. Janette Miller played Mrs. Whitney in 1996. In Step by Step, her role was minor and barely noticed, but off-screen, Miller lived a reclusive, haunting life. She was a fixture in the background of Hollywood, rarely recognized but always present, yet friends described her as intensely private and emotionally fragile. Reports from colleagues claimed she suffered from severe social anxiety and hoarding tendencies, refusing to travel or attend industry events. Her small North Hollywood apartment was described as frozen in time, filled with unopened fan mail, religious icons, and VHS tapes of her performances. She never married, had no close family, and there were rumors she lost a secret child in the 50s, a trauma she never discussed. Her career faded entirely after the mid-2000s, and she relied on meager residual checks and Social Security. Her estate, mostly cluttered belongings and modest savings, was likely under $1 million. Miller died on November 4, 2016, at age 84. The cause of death was never revealed, and no funeral was publicly held. Edward Winter portrayed Richard Lambert in 1994. In the show, his presence was cutting and eccentric, a comic foil with undertones of menace, a reflection of how he viewed himself. Best known for MASH*, Winter's later career stalled, partly due to rumors of erratic behavior on set. He was reportedly fired from a pilot after locking himself in a trailer and refusing to shoot over creative disagreements. Winter's career was also tainted by industry gossip suggesting substance abuse and an explosive temper, particularly with younger actors. His love life was a revolving door of turbulent relationships, including a scandalous breakup with a famous TV actress who accused him of emotional abuse. He lived alone in a rent-controlled Los Angeles apartment and drove an old Jaguar he refused to part with. His estate, mostly from royalties, was worth around $1.5 million. Edward Winter died on March 8, 2001, aged 63, due to complications related to Parkinson's disease. Fred Willard portrayed Burt Lambert in 1997. His character was awkward yet endearing, echoing the improvisational brilliance that defined Willard's unique style. But his charm often masked a darker undercurrent. In 2012, he was arrested for public lewdness at an adult movie theater, an incident that sparked a media frenzy and led to a temporary firing. Though he publicly laughed it off, friends noted it triggered a long-overdue breakdown, exposing years of suppressed mental health struggles and substance dependency. His marriage was reportedly strained, with longtime friends claiming his wife tolerated his affairs and secretive behavior. He quietly entered rehab in 2013, a fact never disclosed during his lifetime. Financially, he remained comfortable but far from wealthy, living in a modest Los Angeles home and surviving on consistent TV royalties and voiceover gigs. His estate, including royalties, investments, and property, was valued at $5 million to $8 million. Fred Willard died on May 15, 2020, at age 86, from cardiac arrest. Brian OBurn appeared briefly as Reverend Wallace in 1991, his understated yet compelling presence adding a subtle weight to the episode. Beyond his modest acting career, OBurn was better known as an acting coach who quietly shaped the careers of many now famous actors, though he never sought the spotlight himself. His reputation became controversial late in life when allegations surfaced about inappropriate behavior with some of his students, ultimately leading to his quiet dismissal from a prestigious acting school. OBurn, a lifelong bachelor, lived a solitary life in a modest Van Nuys duplex filled with VHS tapes of his former students' early performances and piles of unpaid bills, a stark contrast to the fame many of them achieved. His health declined quietly, and despite the modest success of his protégés, he never amassed significant wealth, leaving behind an estate valued at less than $1 million, including his rundown home and teaching materials. Brian OBurn passed away on December 4, 2009, at age 78, with the cause of death undisclosed. Ron Carabato played the delivery man in 1992. A brief role on Step by Step, his gruff demeanor added authenticity to the suburban setting. Though his character was minor, Ron's real life was anything but. A former homicide detective turned actor, Carabato was haunted by the ghosts of unsolved cases, some involving corrupt officials he later clashed with during his acting years. Hollywood's elite often kept him at arm's length, wary of what secrets he might know. His acting resume was vast but peppered with exploitative crime dramas that paid little and offered less respect. Married, yet frequently unfaithful, he fathered a child during a brief affair with a much younger actress who later sued him for child support. His financial state remained humble, an aging condo in Burbank, a pension, and basic savings, totaling under $1 million. Ron Carabato passed away on April 17, 2012, at age 78 from a noncommunicable disease. Richard Roth's portrayal of Bill Lambert in 1992, though brief, showcased his knack for infusing characters with a distinctive awkward charm. Off-screen, Roth led a complicated double life, balancing his acting career with a more lucrative profession as a tax consultant catering to Hollywood's wealthy elite. His long career was punctuated by professional frustrations and interpersonal conflicts, including a widely reported shouting match with a sitcom showrunner that effectively blacklisted him from certain circles. Married, yet involved in secretive and scandalous relationships with two of his tax clients, Roth became embroiled in IRS investigations over allegations of unreported income and financial irregularities. Known for his meticulous approach to finances, he owned prime real estate in Newport Beach and maintained a diversified investment portfolio that secured his financial future. His estate, combining real estate assets and financial investments, was estimated to be between $2 and $4 million at his death. Richard Roth passed away on August 5, 2022, at the age of 89, succumbing to a sudden heart attack. Tom Lister Jr., who portrayed the security guard in Step by Step in 1995, was best known for his intimidating role as Debo in Friday, a character that both defined and limited his career. His massive frame and tough guy persona earned him cult status, but also pigeonholed him into villainous roles, restricting his artistic range. Off-screen, Lister's life was tumultuous, marked by multiple failed relationships and health issues likely aggravated by his years as a professional wrestler, which took a toll on his body. Despite his fame, Lister struggled with loneliness and substance abuse rumors that haunted his later years, although he rarely spoke publicly about these issues. His assets, including a Marina del Rey home, film royalties, and memorabilia, were valued between $1 million and $2 million, but his wealth couldn't shield him from chronic health problems and personal isolation. Tom Lister Jr. passed away on December 10, 2020, at age 62, due to hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, his legacy forever tied to a powerful but troubled persona. Tom O'Rourke portrayed John Patterson in 1992, delivering a subtle but intense performance that reflected a man burdened by inner turmoil. Despite a steady but unremarkable career across theater, television, and minor film roles, O'Rourke never broke into stardom, a fate many attribute to a bitter and long-standing feud with a prominent casting director. Those close to him described O'Rourke as intellectually gifted yet deeply paranoid, often convinced that former colleagues and rivals were surveilling him, which only exacerbated his social withdrawal. His personal life was marred by instability, 2 failed marriages and a turbulent relationship with his only son, who publicly accused him of emotional neglect and verbal abuse through a widely read blog. Financially, O'Rourke maintained modest but comfortable holdings, including a Manhattan apartment, a rustic cabin in upstate New York, and royalties from long-running television shows like Law and Order, cumulatively valuing his estate at around $1.8 million. He fought a protracted battle with cancer and died on September 13, 2009, at age 65. Denise Dows played Judge Martin in 1998. Her character was firm yet fair, delivering authority in a show otherwise dominated by light-hearted family antics. Behind the scenes, Dows fought to be taken seriously in an industry that constantly typecast her as strong black women without nuance. While she enjoyed critical acclaim in shows like 90210, she was often overlooked for major roles due to industry racism and ageism. Her career, though steady, was plagued with moments where she was passed over for less experienced actors. Dows was intensely private, yet whispers in Hollywood spoke of a long-term affair with a married producer, which ended with her being blacklisted from a major drama series. She never married and had no children, fueling tabloid speculation about her sexuality. Her assets included a modest home in Inglewood, a hybrid car, and directing royalties from indie theater projects, altogether worth around $1.5 million. Denise Dows died on August 13, 2022, at age 64, after slipping into a coma from meningitis. Diana Bellamy played the saleswoman in Step by Step in 1994, often cast in eccentric and comedic roles that brought lightness to scenes but masked her deeper personal struggles. On screen, her characters were quirky and lovable, but off-screen, Bellamy faced a career hampered by chronic typecasting and the harsh reality of Hollywood's limited roles for women of her type. She was known to have battled persistent health problems, which at times affected her work and financial stability. Bellamy's private life was marked by loneliness, complicated by fractured relationships and few close friends, exacerbated by her declining health. Despite steady work in TV and film, she never achieved the breakthrough fame she desired, and rumors circulated of her frustration with industry insiders who sidelined her. Her estate consisted mainly of a modest Valley Village home and residuals from her roles, with an estimated value below $1 million, reflecting the precarious financial reality for many character actors. Diana Bellamy died on June 17, 2001, at 57 from cancer. Peter Spellows, who played Big Jim in 1995, brought a raw, intimidating force to the character that added an unexpected edge to Step by Step's family dynamic. Despite a promising career as a voice actor in popular franchises like Transformers, Robots in Disguise and Men in Black 2, Spellows struggled in live-action roles and was often typecast, which frustrated his ambitions. Industry insiders whispered about his mercurial temperament, including several on-set clashes that led to lost roles and professional blacklisting in certain circles. Privately, Spellows's life was marked by isolation, complicated relationships, and bouts of depression that few knew about. He faced 2 divorces, with estranged children who rarely spoke of him, and his health declined quietly. His estate was modest, consisting mainly of teaching materials, a small collection of memorabilia, and savings under $1 million, reflecting a life dedicated more to mentoring than material wealth. Peter Spellows died on November 19, 2023, at 69 years old in Indianapolis, Indiana, after a prolonged battle with pancreatic cancer. Peter Dennis, who played the auctioneer in Step by Step in 1996, brought gravitas and a distinctive voice to his roles, often excelling in stage and voice acting. Yet, his career in the U.S. was marked by frustration as he struggled to escape the limitations placed on British actors in Hollywood, frequently relegated to minor or voice roles despite his talent. Dennis faced significant financial difficulties in later years, exacerbated by a prolonged battle with cancer and a relative lack of steady work. His personal life was notably private but tinged with loneliness, as reports suggest strained relationships and a lack of close family ties. His modest estate, consisting of theatrical royalties and a home in Shadow Hills, was valued under $1 million, reflecting a life dedicated to art but marred by hardship. Peter Dennis died on April 18, 2009, at 75 from cancer, remembered as a gifted but underappreciated artist who quietly endured much behind the scenes. Mary Pat Gleason took on the role of Ms. Butkus in 1995, often portraying warm yet sharp-witted characters that belied her off-screen battles. Though she achieved recognition as an Emmy-winning writer and actress, Gleason faced persistent struggles with uterine cancer that challenged her physically and emotionally. Professionally, despite her accolades, she dealt with the frustrations of Hollywood's fickle nature, including long periods of unemployment and typecasting in minor roles. Her personal life was marked by a difficult marriage filled with conflict and eventual estrangement from family members, underscored by public revelations about her mental health struggles, which she bravely spoke about as an advocate. Gleason's estate, comprising a California home, royalties, and intellectual properties, was valued between $1 million and $2 million, representing her lifelong dedication to her craft. She died on June 2, 2020, at 70 from uterine cancer, leaving a legacy as a fighter who used her platform to shed light on mental health despite the pain she endured. Melissa Clayton appeared briefly as a student in Step by Step in 1993, but her promising career was tragically cut short by melanoma at just 44. She had some notable appearances on popular family shows like Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman and Full House, but struggled with the pressures of early fame, reportedly battling issues with self-esteem and substance abuse, which contributed to a turbulent personal life. Rumors circulated about unstable romantic relationships and difficulty maintaining long-term commitments, which compounded the challenges she faced in the entertainment industry. Clayton's modest estate in Portland was valued under $500,000, mirroring a life and career that never fully flourished. Her sudden death on May 12, 2017, shocked fans and friends alike, a stark reminder of the fragility behind youthful promise and the hidden battles many actors endure off-camera. Andre Rosie Brown, who appeared as a security guard in 1993, lent authenticity to his role with a background as a former police officer, a history that deeply influenced his on-screen presence. Brown's career, though steady, never reached star status, hampered by the psychological scars of his former profession. He battled post-traumatic stress disorder and episodes of depression, which reportedly caused several tense moments during shoots. Brown's personal life was equally challenging. He endured a messy divorce filled with allegations of neglect and verbal abuse, and his only child became estranged, reportedly rejecting any contact with him. Despite these hardships, he remained active in his community, often volunteering and speaking about mental health struggles faced by veterans and law enforcement personnel. His estate was modest, primarily a small home in California and limited savings, underscoring a life of quiet struggles. Andre Rosie Brown died at 50 on July 18, 2006, after a brief illness. Matt Landers portrayed Mr. Parker in Step by Step in 1995 and was a familiar face in action films and TV shows throughout the 80s and 90s, yet his career was marked by steady decline and missed opportunities. Known for roles in Die Hard and Commando, Landers struggled with personal demons, including a turbulent marriage that ended in a very public and acrimonious divorce, which reportedly left deep emotional scars. His relationship with his daughter was strained and distant during his final years, reflecting broader struggles with addiction and health issues. Landers spent his last days at his daughter's home in Los Angeles, and his estate, including a house and film residuals, was valued between $1 million and $2 million. He died on March 12, 2015, at age 62 from cancer, his legacy complicated by private pain and the contrast between his tough on-screen roles and real-life vulnerabilities. Peggy Stewart, who played Dottie in 1995, was a beloved icon of classic Western cinema who brought a grounded wisdom to her character in Step by Step. Dottie served as the moral center of the show, balancing humor with heartfelt sincerity. However, Stewart's personal history was far from the serene image she portrayed. She endured a long, bitter feud with a major Hollywood studio that blacklisted her for years after a public argument over creative control, severely damaging her career trajectory. Behind closed doors, Stewart struggled with alcoholism and endured abusive relationships early in life, leading to decades of personal turmoil and several estrangements from her children. Known for her fiery temper, she often clashed with co-stars and crew, resulting in a reputation for being difficult on set. Despite this, she amassed a significant estate worth between $1 million and $2 million, including rare memorabilia and real estate holdings. Peggy Stewart died peacefully on May 29, 2019, at 95 years old from natural causes. Shirley Preia, who portrayed Betty Jenkins in 1994, was the comedic heartbeat of her role, portraying a quirky, resilient woman whose humor lightened tense moments in the series. Her career had early highs but was marred by a public scandal in the late 90s when she clashed with a prominent producer, resulting in an unofficial industry blacklist that stalled her momentum. Off-screen, Preia endured a volatile marriage filled with infidelity, emotional abuse, and a bitter, highly publicized divorce that left her emotionally scarred. She also faced the heartbreak of estrangement from her only daughter. Diagnosed with brain cancer, she kept her illness largely private while continuing to work sporadically, supported by her tight circle of friends in the comedy community. Her estate was humble, consisting mostly of personal effects and television residuals, with an estimated value under $1 million. Shirley Preia passed away on October 6, 2011, at age 64 after an 8-year battle with brain cancer. Harmon Kilibru appeared as himself in 1995, making a memorable cameo as a sports legend whose larger-than-life persona captivated viewers. Yet beneath the public image of the humble Hall of Fame baseball star lurked a private life riddled with turmoil. Kilibru's marriage was fraught with scandal, including well-documented affairs and a series of explosive, public arguments that shocked fans and the sports community alike. Later in life, his relationship with several of his children became estranged, rumors suggesting bitter disputes over his substantial estate. Despite his charitable public persona, those close to him described Kilibru as a complex figure, prone to bouts of anger and deep regrets about the sacrifices his fame required. His estate was vast, valued between $8 million and $10 million, consisting of real estate, memorabilia, and lucrative endorsements. Harmon Kilibru died on May 17, 2011, aged 74, after a battle with esophageal cancer. Lisa Sheridan, who took on the role of Bonnie in 1997, was known for portraying gentle and emotionally vulnerable characters, and Bonnie was no exception, a sweet soul caught in the chaos of the family. However, Sheridan's off-screen life was a tumultuous spiral of addiction and heartbreak. Despite early promise in series like Invasion and Freaky Links, her career faltered due to chronic alcoholism, which led to multiple stints in rehab and a notorious public meltdown that severely damaged her reputation. Her personal relationships were equally fraught, including a scandalous breakup involving allegations of physical abuse and substance-fueled confrontations that made tabloid headlines. Estranged from most of her family, she lived a largely solitary life in New Orleans, her health deteriorating rapidly in her final years. Her estate was modest, reflecting a career cut short and a life marked by instability. Lisa Sheridan died at 44 years old on February 25, 2019, from complications related to chronic alcoholism. Who was your favorite member of the Step-by-Step cast? Let us know in the comments. Over the years, we've said goodbye to many beloved stars, but their incredible performances continue to live on in our hearts. Their impact on television and the memories they created will never be forgotten. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on classic TV stars. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.